How many parcels are involved in total?
There are a total of 4,600 parcels, give or take, in the redevelopment area.
And how many are presently owned by?
Roughly 1/4 of those parcels, or I think Mr. Ricky just said 900, and it changes, every day, but it's roughly a quarter.
Do you know how many different names those different parcels were acquired under?
No, I don't have 12.
12 different names. Thank you.
Alderman Conway, Alderman Carter.
I haven't sat down and looked at this and read this over and over. I had an opportunity to talk to my colleague one-on-one with some other aldermen, so a lot of questions were answered, a lot of things that were out there in the media. She cleared up a lot of myths out there, a lot of lies out there. I think the alderwoman from the 5th was very clear to me. She answered a lot of questions. So we brainstormed a lot. So I don't want to do any more grandstanding, but it's important that, the alderman who did the work is congratulated. She took a lot of heat. She took a lot of necessary hits from all these lies and myths. But I read this bill twice, and I couldn't find anything on these bills. And she did reassure me that anything that come before this board that we need the backing of the general revenue, she would support. That's all.
Okay, Alderman Schmidt.
I congratulate all the folks who've been working on this, and particularly the older people who are struggling mightily with all this, as well as the people who are working. I did have some questions because I haven't been involved with this much as some of those older people. In 218, Board Bill 218, the usual section about the mayor and comptroller and designated representatives being able to execute other documents and so forth is in there. But in section 5, and I'll address in a moment why I'm sort of concerned about this, because I know what we're intending to do, and sometimes I'm not sure what the words are doing that. It says that the mayor and comptroller designated representatives are further authorized after approval of PNA and directed to make any changes to the documents, agreements, and instruments approved and authorized by this ordinance as may be consistent with the intent of this ordinance and necessary and appropriate to carry out the matters here and authorized. And to some degree that makes some sense, but I guess part of that might be, how far that might go. And the reason why I'm concerned about that is, as you described, and Ms. Geisman, you did a fabulous presentation, and I've just marveled at how you did all this together, so thank you. But on the eminent domain piece, which is in the document itself, that is Exhibit A, it talks about use of eminent domain for public use and also additional legislation of the Board of Aldermen or pursuant to existing or additional legislation of the Board of Aldermen. So I guess what my concern is whether someone, and I don't think that this administration is likely to do that, but we're talking about a 20-year window here and so forth, that somebody could say, okay, the intent of this development agreement is thus and such. You all are authorized to go ahead and do some things that could ultimately end up in some eminent domain process while the Board of Aldermen sitting here thinking that it would have to come back as legislation. I don't think the current older people might do that. I don't think the administration would do that. But I think sometimes people in the community might wonder about these.
Okay. Legislation that explicitly authorizes the use of eminent domain. This bill does not do that, and an agreement all by itself cannot do that. So, David?
Yes, good morning. The provision you're talking about in the ordinance is a standard provision in the city's ordinance, in the board bills and the ordinances. And I agree, but it clearly says it has to be in accordance with the intent of this ordinance. And the intent of this ordinance is set forth in the agreement, which says there's going to be no eminent domain. The additional protection is that in the corresponding board bill that adopts the redevelopment plan clearly says there's no eminent domain, and for there to be eminent domain, then that redevelopment plan would have to be if you wanted to do it under TIF. So you would have to pass new legislation to amend this TIF to allow it to happen under TIF, or you'd have to do separate legislation